Heartwarming story exposed, when $5 billion disappeared after ignoring a black CEO's handshake. Marcus stood on the precipice of his dreams, a single day looming before him, thick with anticipation. The conference room, filled with top investors, seemed like a coliseum where his hopes faced judgment. Memories of crammed evenings spent poring over pitch decks flooded his mind. But even more vivid were the Sunday potlucks at his grandmother May's house, where laughter and shared stories breathed life into his ambitions. May, a retired schoolteacher, had filled his childhood with lessons on integrity and resilience, always reminding him that hard work pays off. With a sharp inhale, Marcus stepped into his old neighborhood. He felt the familiar rhythm of everyday life pulse around him, the buzz of people stopping by to chat, kids playing basketball, men gathered at the corner store. He greeted old friends and family with warm hugs, each smile a quiet cheer, lifting his spirit higher. It was a tapestry of community woven with support and love. "We're backing you, Marcus," they exclaimed, their voices wrapping around him like a protective shield. Every nod, every reassuring pat on the back pushed his resolve further. As he neared May's house, the scent of fried chicken and cornbread wafted through the air, filling him with nostalgia. Inside, the kitchen became a haven where local entrepreneurs exchanged ideas over steaming plates. May's eyes sparkled with pride, her gentle encouragement echoing in his ears. "You've worked hard for this, baby. Remember, they can't take away your worth," she whispered, squeezing his hand. But tomorrow, he would face a different arena, one tailored for ruthless scrutiny. The day arrived, and as he stepped into the sleek conference room, the atmosphere shifted. Skepticism clouded the air, a palpable tension reminiscent of basketball games in his neighborhood where the outcome hung on a knife's edge. His presentation began, dripping with passion and vision, a fervent plea for inclusive tech innovation. But suddenly, the air felt thick. A dismissive wave from a powerful investor communicated a single, crushing message: he wasn't worth their time. As the meeting wound down, Marcus felt the ground tremble beneath him. A $5 billion deal crumbled into ash, overshadowed by the investor's ignorant doubts about his abilities. Rage ignited in him amidst a whirlwind of disbelief. The heartfelt cheers of his community faded into whispers of betrayal as they rallied alongside him, reflecting a spirit long beaten down by systemic inequality. But then, he remembered May's teachings: resilience, integrity, and strength. Inspired, he called upon his neighbors. Together, they sparked a movement, turning outrage into a fight for justice, aiming to rewrite the narrative around representation in the tech industry. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. In that charged moment, Marcus approached the investor, a fire lighting his eyes. He delivered a raw, impassioned speech, words igniting the crowd like fireworks against the dark night sky. As he spoke, the weight of change pressed against societal biases. Could this be the moment of redemption? Would the investor's mind open, or would shadows of prejudice linger? As tension thickened, the crowd held their breaths. Tomorrow's dreams teetered on the edge of possibility, ready to ignite a broader conversation about worth and change. Marcus felt the pulse of the room, the crowd's anticipation wrapping around him. He took a small step closer to the investor, grounding himself in those familiar teachings from May. "I'm not just here to pitch a business," he began, his voice steady but laced with emotion. "I'm here to change the narrative, to create opportunities for countless others who have been overlooked, just like me." The investor shifted uncomfortably, his brow furrowed. The murmurs of support from the audience hung in the air, thick with hope. Marcus glanced out to see familiar faces among the crowd: friends, family, and neighbors who had traveled to stand beside him. Their encouraging nods fueled his resolve. This isn't just about money, Marcus continued, passion coursing through his veins. This is about innovation that includes all voices. When we invest in diversity, we're investing in the future. We're creating solutions that resonate with communities that have often been sidelined. As he spoke, flashes of the past flickered in his mind, images of kids in his neighborhood dreaming of tech careers, unaware of the barriers that loomed before them. Each face told a story, each home held aspirations waiting to be realized. Marcus caught the eye of a woman in the front row, her tears glistening. She was a single mother who had poured her heart and soul into her children's education. Could he help create a bridge for more stories like hers? The investor's expression was hard to read, a blend of skepticism and curiosity. But Marcus pushed on, recounting the nights spent with his community, each brainstorming session filled with laughter and dreams. He recited statistics on the impact of diversity in tech, contrasted the benefits of inclusive teams against a backdrop of disappointing returns from exclusionary practices. But it was his final words that struck a deeper chord. At the end of the day, this isn't just a business opportunity. It's a chance to stand on the right side of history. We can either be the catalyst for change or another barrier to it. In that moment, the conference room transformed. The walls seemed to resonate with the weight of his message. Silence reigned as the investors exchanged glances, some biting their lips, others leaning forward. Then the investor finally spoke, his voice measured but revealing. "You make a compelling argument, Marcus. But change is risky." Risk. Marcus felt his heart race. "I understand the stakes, but what's riskier, a missed investment or the opportunity to transform lives?" The air grew heavy with expectation. In the back of the room, one of his allies silently clutched a phone, capturing the moment, ready to share it with the world. Would this be the moment that ignited a fire? Would the community's strength influence the investor's decision? Suddenly, the doors swung open behind them, breaking the tense stillness. A group of young tech enthusiasts burst in, wearing matching t-shirts that read, "Future Builders." Their energy charged the room with a fresh wave of enthusiasm. "We believe in you, Marcus," one shouted, a confident grin lighting up her face. Marcus's heart fluttered. The surreal scene, combining creativity and courage, mirrored the wave of emotion streaming through him. Encouragement came rushing back to him in the loudest ways. The moment felt electric, crackling with potential. Now, it's not just for us, he thought. It's for everyone who has a dream. But would the investor see it too? Would he take the leap, or would he retreat to the comfort of familiarity? As their eyes locked, Marcus felt all his hopes hang in the balance, waiting for a response that could change everything. Tomorrow awaited with the promise of hope, but would it deliver? The silence in the room thrummed with tension. Every eye shifted between Marcus and the investor, anticipation hanging like a thick fog. Marcus could feel the weight of those gazes, a silent chorus of encouragement pressing against him. The energy pulsed, each tick of the clock echoing like a drumbeat in his chest. The investor leaned back, stroking his chin thoughtfully. For a moment, it felt as if the air had frozen, holding its breath. Then he broke the spell. "Change is risky, Marcus. We know that. But there's a fine line between innovation and failure." Marcus nodded, eager to absorb every word. "I get that," he replied, his voice steady. It was crucial now to connect. His story was about trust, and he needed to establish that bridge. But imagine, just for a moment, what it would mean if we succeeded, not simply for us, but for the millions who feel they don't belong in this space. The investor furrowed his brow again, clearly wrestling with the concept. Before he could respond, the young tech enthusiasts surged forward, their excitement infectious. "We want this," one of them exclaimed, excitement radiating from her every word. "We see it, we believe in it. Let us help make it happen." Marcus felt his heart swell. Their unwavering faith ignited something deep within him, a conviction that this was more than just a pitch, it was the spark of a movement. The investor held his hand up for silence, intrigued but still cautious. What do you propose? How do you plan to integrate this vision with measurable results? His voice was a mix of challenge and faint curiosity, a slight tilt of hope lacing his tone. Taking a deep breath, Marcus scanned the crowd, seeking inspiration. He thought of the kids playing outside, the laughter of families overcoming so much just to make ends meet. It starts with getting our hands dirty together. Building mentorship programs, hiring practices that reflect the communities we aim to serve, and leveraging technology to ensure access to education, especially in underserved areas. As he laid out his vision, each word felt like a brick laid in a new foundation. He could see the murmurs ripple through the room. The faces around him shifted from skepticism to intrigue. Marcus pressed on. If we can collaborate, share resources, provide training, we can cultivate a generation that doesn't just participate but leads. The investor's eyes narrowed, and for the first time, a hint of excitement flickered in their depths. So, you're saying you want us to see this as a partnership and investment in both profit and community? Yes. Marcus exclaimed, his heart racing with renewed energy. This isn't a charity case. It's an investment opportunity that brings everyone to the table. We'll prove that the ROI isn't just financial, it's social, impactful in ways that resonate beyond spreadsheets. The investor frowned, clearly contemplating the idea still. But he leaned in, visibly engaged for the first time. Suddenly, the tension began to crack, the fear of loss shifting into the thrill of possibility. Just then, Marcus noticed May at the back, her proud smile beaming like a lighthouse. The mother figure who encouraged him from the very beginning, whose belief in him never wavered. Seeing her there grounded him, reminding him of the true purpose behind every word. All those nights spent planning. All those hopes hanging on a fragile thread. Turning back to the investor, he added, together we can redefine what success looks like for everyone. And if we don't take that leap now, when will we? With hopeful determination written across every face in the room, the investor finally took a deep breath, his steely demeanor faltering. All right, Marcus. Let us explore this idea further. I want to see the plan you outlined. Marcus felt a rush of adrenaline. The door had cracked open, and all he had to do was push through. But just as hope ignited, a discordant noise came from the corridor. A commotion interrupted the budding momentum. What now? Marcus wondered, a frown twisting his mouth. As the door swung open again, faces turned towards the entrance. Was this a new threat to his dream, or a forgotten chance waiting to be seized? The door swung wide, and in rushed a disheveled man, his shirt half-tucked and hair wild. His eyes darted around the room, and moments later, they landed on Marcus. I'm sorry I'm late. I had a, unexpected issue, he panted, slightly out of breath. Marcus squinted, trying to place him. You're John, right? The marketing director? The investor turned to the man with an irritated look, seemingly unimpressed by the interruption. Yes. That's me. John replied, his hands waving as he caught his breath. I know we need to talk about the initiative, but I just couldn't miss what Marcus is discussing. A few puzzled glances darted around the room, and Marcus felt the uncertainty ripple through the crowd. John's sudden appearance felt like a bubble bursting in the midst of his carefully stacked momentum, but there was something in John's urgency that sparked curiosity. We've got something big here. We need to seize it, don't we? John continued, now on the edge of adrenaline. The investor raised an eyebrow but remained silent. What do you mean? Marcus asked, genuinely intrigued despite the disruption. John hesitated for a moment, his gaze flitting from the investor to May and back to Marcus. I was just at the cafe across the street and overheard a conversation. Two tech giants were talking about community integration and market opportunities. They were mocking the approach we've been discussing today. I swear, they're on the brink of stepping into our turf. But it's more than just that. What do you mean? The investor pressed, leaning forward now, his curiosity piqued. They were throwing money into a different model, claiming that it would crush any community-focused initiative in its path if we don't act fast. John's words spilled out like a rushing river. They're just interested in profits, but if we highlight our commitment with real actions, not just plans, we can show the market a different way to succeed. We have the people. We have the vision. The energy in the room shifted dramatically as John spoke. The younger tech enthusiasts leaned in, their previous excitement refueled. Marcus could feel that spark he believed in rising again, igniting the room with purpose. So what do we do? Marcus encouraged, the resolve returning to his voice. If they think shifting gears into community-focused strategies is a joke, let us prove them wrong. We have something they don't, Heart. A coalition. John exclaimed, eyes lit with inspiration. We can draw in local partners, non-profit organizations, mentors. This can't just be about number crunching, it needs a face. Exactly. Marcus added. This is about community. If we can not only execute a vision but unite those who need support, we can create a living model. A real-world example of how impactful collaboration fosters growth. The initial silence transformed into a frenzy of ideas, bubbling excitement sparking through the room. All around him, they tossed out suggestions, plans, and calls to action. Marcus could feel the tide building, the rush of possibility overtaking the momentary doubt. It was no longer just about the pitch, it was a call to arms. The investor felt the shift too, his expression changing from skepticism to a cautious optimism. Let us make this a formal presentation. We need numbers, projections, and we need to show the community backing. Absolutely, Marcus replied, energized. We'll gather our allies, proof of interest, and real stories to support what we've discussed. Together, we will turn this conversation into momentum. Just then, the door swung open again, the crowd turned to see May stepping forward, her face glowing with determination. Now you've got it. I've seen communities come together for much less. Imagine what we could do with this. But before Marcus could respond, a heavy silence cloaked the room again. A tall figure appeared behind May. The earlier tension returned, and a chill sweated down his back. He recognized the stranger immediately. This was no mere coincidence, he had come at a critical juncture. Marcus, we need to talk. Now. Was this a hurdle? Appearing out of nowhere, or the next clue in a greater path forward? The room held its breath. Marcus's heart raced at the sight of the stranger. He felt as if he had stumbled into a tangle of fate. The man was dressed sharply in a tailored suit, a stark contrast to the chaos of the meeting. The confidence emanating from him felt almost magnetic. Do I know you? Marcus managed to ask, his voice steady despite the sudden arrival. You will soon enough, the man replied, his eyes piercing through the room, assessing every person present. My name is Theo Morrison, and I represent a consortium that's deeply interested in your initiative. Wait, John interrupted, his curiosity morphing into suspicion. You just walk in here and what? Expect us to roll over for you? Theo smiled, unfazed by the challenge. I'm not here to take anything from you. I'm here to support. He scanned the faces of Marcus, John, May, and the investor. I've been following your progress. It's impressive. The investor's skepticism met Theo's calm demeanor. And why would you care to back a community-focused initiative, as you say? Because I know the numbers, and I see the potential that the larger companies are overlooking, Theo replied. His voice dripped with a blend of confidence and resolve. There's power in communities that no algorithm can quantify. You want to build a coalition? I can help make that happen. Is this some kind of sales pitch? May asked, crossing her arms, bringing the walls back up. Theo shook his head. No, this is an offer. If you want to outpace those tech giants, you'll need someone who understands not just the business landscape, but the community aspect as well. I've been part of initiatives that changed narratives and shifted market dynamics. The room felt electric, but also heavy with skepticism. Marcus sensed the urgency. Theo's presence radiated authenticity, yet doubt still loomed in their minds. But Marcus stepped forward, the interplay of opportunity and caution stirring inside. What's in it for you? Why should we trust you? Because I've been underestimated too. I've had my fair share of doors slammed in my face. When I see people trying to build something real, I want to arm them with the tools they need to succeed. A fire ignited in Theo's eyes. We need more than just dreams, we need action and allies. I can help bring resources and connections you didn't think you could reach. John exchanged glances with the others. Marcus could tell their minds were racing. The tension shifted, morphing from doubt to contemplation. Let's say we entertain your proposition, the investor interjected, cautiously intrigued. What do you suggest we do first? Theo exhaled slowly, his excitement barely contained. Organize a community event. Show everyone what you're about, but make it spectacular: live demos, local partnerships, stories that resonate. Let them see the heartbeat of this initiative. A spark lit in Marcus's mind. An event it could showcase what we can accomplish together. Yes. May nodded. It can rally the people. Get them invested, interested, involved. The energy rose again, but as Marcus looked at Theo, he felt a lingering uncertainty. He needed to know more. There was something profound about this chance encounter that spoke of greater implications. The room buzzed with conversation and fluttering ideas, but Marcus paused, a thought brewing. He took a deep breath, meeting Theo's gaze. All right, let's move forward. Let's talk details. But yes? Theo prompted, eyes narrowed with intrigue. What's the one thing you think we need to do to ensure we're not just another flash in the pan? Theo smiled slowly, the answer lingering in the air. Understand that every step will be scrutinized. Patience and commitment will be your greatest allies. Remember, it's not just about you, it's about everyone we choose to uplift along the way. Marcus felt the weight of those words settle within him, almost reverberating through the hopes kindling in the room. But the pounding in his chest reminded him that every journey had its shadows. Suddenly, the door creaked again. The sound pulled everyone's heads up, and a woman stepped through, her eyes scanning the group quickly. I heard you were making plans. This was someone new, yet familiar. Who was she, and what did she know that could change everything? The woman took a step inside, her presence commanding immediate attention. She had a fiery determination in her gaze, one that held the promise of both courage and conflict. Her dark hair framed her face, accentuating the strength emanating from her stance. Silence filled the room, and Marcus felt the weight of anticipation settle uncomfortably on his shoulders. Who are you? John asked, the skepticism in his voice returning like an old friend. I'm Maya, she said simply, her tone steady. I've been following your efforts, and I believe we could greatly benefit from each other's insights. Marcus couldn't help but feel a mix of relief and curiosity. Here was another ally perhaps. Her confidence mirrored Theo's, but he could sense the tension in the air. What do you mean by that? He asked, inviting her in. Maya stepped forward, her energy palpable. I've been working with community organizations for years, bridging gaps and building coalitions. I'm passionate about what you're trying to achieve. But she hesitated, gauging the room. You'll need a solid strategy if you want to break through the noise. Theo smiled, clearly interested in her approach. Exactly. We need to merge our strengths. I can strategize growth, and you can manage community outreach. Together, we can create something game-changing. Marcus felt a rush of hope. The idea sparked within him a collaboration that felt as if it could build bridges. But doubt flickered again. What's the catch? Why would you want to get involved? There must be a reason. I know what it's like to be dismissed, Maya replied, her voice edged with urgency. I've faced skepticism my whole life in this industry. But I also know the power of unity and resilience when the chips are down. I'm here to stand beside you, to ensure your initiative becomes a movement. May leaned in, excitement mingling with caution. If we coordinate our resources, we could hold that event, Theo suggested. But we need to get our message right, what we stand for, who we serve, and why it matters. Exactly. Maya interjected, her eyes brightening. A well-timed event could amplify voices that might otherwise go unheard. It's about elevating stories that resonate with the community, that inspire action. If you put passion behind the planning, you'll find your population grow your coalition organically. John furrowed his brow, the gears in his mind visibly churning. You really think we can draw people in? I mean, outside of our usual crowd? It's about authenticity, Maya emphasized. People connect with real stories, not just facts and figures. There's a hunger out there for change. If you invite them in, they will show up. Marcus felt his heart race. Excitement joined the uncertainty swirling inside him. Could they really make this happen? Could they bring people together, unite them for a common cause? All right, Marcus opened his mouth, feeling a wave of determination surge. Let us plan the event, but we can't just do it alone. We need to engage with community leaders, local businesses, everyone who can amplify our message. In that case, Theo said, leaning back with a satisfied expression, let us put an agenda together. I want to be there every step of the way, guiding you through this process. As they began to brainstorm ideas, themes, venues, community partners, the energy in the room shifted. It transformed into a whirlwind of ambition and creativity. Laughter mingled with focused conversation, and Marcus could almost see the seeds of change taking root. But just as they were getting into a rhythm, Maya's expression slumped slightly, her voice lowering. There's something else we need to discuss. What do you mean? Marcus asked, the room growing still again. Maya hesitated, looking around as if weighing her words. There are people, powerful people, who will try to intervene if they see you getting any traction. You'll need to prepare for pushback. Theo raised an eyebrow, intrigued. What are you talking about? Maya's gaze locked onto Marcus's. If we want to truly succeed, we must be ready for the sacrifices that come with real change. A chill ran down Marcus's spine. He had thought about the challenges but didn't anticipate this level of scrutiny. What sacrifices? He whispered. Those who fear a shift in power. Sit quietly, she warned. You need to be ready for the storm that might come. Marcus felt the gears turning in his mind, realizing that their journey would demand more than just passion. It would require a resolve to face whatever may come. Would they have the courage to fight for what they believed in? The atmosphere thickened as they grappled with Maya's words, her warning hanging heavily. Deep down, he sensed that the real battle was just beginning. Marcus's mind raced as the gravity of Maya's words settled in. He couldn't shake the feeling that their initiative had just crossed a line. This was no longer just about launching an event or gathering support. It was about confronting powerful forces that preferred the status quo. He glanced at Theo, who appeared both inspired and disconcerted. The excitement they'd just built up felt fragile now, like a bubble ready to burst. May's brow was furrowed, compounded by worry. John remained skeptical, arms crossed tightly, absorbing the implications of their new ally's revelations. What kind of pushback are we talking about? Theo finally asked, breaking the silence that had shrouded the room. Maya took a breath, her composure resolute, yet something flickered in her eyes, a quiet fear and determination intertwined. There are established interests who want you to succeed. They thrive on division, and they perceive your unity as a threat. But why? John interjected. Why would they care about us? Because a movement like yours could inspire others. You might change the dialogue in ways they never wanted: empowerment, inclusion, real change. They'll try to undermine you, and they could do it in ways you least expect. Marcus could feel a knot tightening in his stomach. He wanted change, but the price of his dreams was becoming clearer, looming like a shadow over his ambitions. Do you have examples? Something we can learn from? Maya nodded. I've seen this in other campaigns. Attacks on credibility, spreading misinformation about your objectives. And sometimes it gets personal: threats, smear campaigns. They'll use any tactic necessary to undermine you. Great, John muttered. Sounds like a lovely game we're getting into. Marcus could feel the heat building inside him. So what do we do? Just sit here and wait to be bullied? No, Maya replied firmly. We prepare. You need a support system: people who believe in your vision. Document everything. Be transparent, and keep your narrative strong. Above all, stay united. Maya's gaze swept across the room, landing on each of them. And if you need to, don't hesitate to push back. Sometimes, transparency is the best defense. A long silence followed. Marcus's heart raced as realization hit him. This isn't just about our community event anymore, is it? This is about redefining our narrative, standing firm against whatever is coming. Maya smiled, and it was the first genuine warmth he'd felt since she arrived. Exactly. And sometimes, it takes a personal story to shift perceptions. Don't be afraid to share your truths. There's power in vulnerability. An idea ignited in Marcus's mind. We could share our journeys: what brought us here, what we've fought against. It would resonate, and it might just rally others to join us. Spot on, Theo added eagerly. Vulnerable stories bring humanity into the conversation. It helps people connect beyond the usual barriers. May nodded enthusiastically. It's about inspiring hope. Our struggles can be the catalyst for others' dreams, even those who are hesitant to join us now. Maya's expression shifted to one of pride. There's a powerful coalition waiting to be formed. People who felt dismissed, overlooked. It's time to give them a platform. With renewed determination swirling around them, the group began to formulate a plan. Ideas flowed freely, and for a moment, the tension eased. They discussed potential speakers, personal stories they could share, and how to invite the community in a way that felt authentic and engaging. But as the planning progressed, the underlying tension lingered, an electric charge in the air. Each of them was painfully aware that their resolve would soon face scrutiny. As the meeting drew to a close, Marcus looked around at his comrades. No matter what happens next, we have to remember why we started this. We share a vision that's worth fighting for. Just then, Maya's phone buzzed. She glanced down, her expression shifting to concern. We've been stretched thin already, and it seems our opponents are already catching wind of our efforts. Who? Marcus asked, his heart pounding. Let's just say they're not fans of unity, Maya replied, her eyes narrowing. And they may be closer than we think. Marcus felt a chilling certainty. They were already in the storm, and it was far from over. What lay ahead? He steeled himself, ready to confront the very forces trying to silence them. But the question hung thick in the air: would they be strong enough to endure what was coming? The following day felt heavy with uncertainty. The sun poured through Marcus's window, but it did little to brighten his spirits. All morning, he replayed Maya's warning in his mind. They had embarked on a journey, diving headfirst into a battle they hadn't fully understood. Sitting at his kitchen table, Marcus stared at a plain mug of coffee, steam curling up like the worries swirling in his head. He thought about how they would share their stories, each one a testimony filled with pain and resilience. But could they truly rally the community around them? Would their vulnerability fortify them or expose them further? His phone buzzed, breaking his train of thought. It was Theo. "Are we still on for the meeting at the park later?" "Yeah, we have to stay on course," Marcus replied, forcing a sense of optimism into his voice. "Let us keep the momentum going." "All right. I'll see you there," Theo said before hanging up. With a determined sigh, Marcus set the mug aside and began scribbling notes. He wanted to capture the stories that mattered, the struggles not just from him, but from everyone who felt unseen. At the park, the atmosphere crackled with anticipation. More people than he'd expected showed up. Faces once familiar felt new again as they shared their concerns and hopes. May was already there, talking to a group of participants, her animated hand movements catching the sun's glow as she gestured passionately. "Look at this," Marcus said to himself. "We're building something real." As he walked over, he caught snippets of their discussions, dreams of unity, calls for understanding. But even as excitement built, Marcus's heart pounded with the knowledge of potential backlash. "Hey there." May beamed as she spotted him. "We were just discussing themes for the event. I think sharing personal stories could really resonate, don't you?" "Absolutely. We need to let our community in on why this matters. But we also have to be prepared for what might come after," he said, scanning the crowd. "Especially with what Maya warned us about." John strode over, folding his arms, a familiar skeptical look plastered on his face. "Have any of you thought about what happens if the people who oppose us come here? If they threaten us directly?" Marcus felt a chill creep up his spine. "They will try to intimidate us. But this isn't about us alone, it's about everyone here. And we can't let fear dictate our actions." "Easier said than done," John sighed. "But I guess we have to trust in each other. It's just daunting." Theo's presence steadied him as he chimed in, "We need to start gathering personal stories. It gives us strength. It connects us." He looked at Marcus, eyebrows raised for confirmation. An idea struck Marcus. "What if we have a circle gathering? People can share their experiences, and it doesn't have to be formal. Just us and the stories that brought us together." May's eyes sparkled, and she nodded vigorously. "That sounds perfect. It will show our community that we're real, just like them." Encouraged, Marcus began to feel a swell of hope. Yet another buzz rang out from Maya's phone nearby. The group gathered around her as she read a disturbing message. "Guys, we need to go public. Someone's already spreading lies about our event. They're trying to undermine what we stand for," she declared, her expression grim. Gasps floated through the crowd. Marcus felt the fear return. "Then we stand together. We fight back transparency, community support. Our stories and truth are our shields," he said, heart racing. But doubts lingered. They were at a crossroads, and the stakes were rising higher by each moment. Would they truly have the strength to face the imminent storm? The weight of everything settled on Marcus, but there was no turning back now. He took a deep breath and stepped forward, determined. The fight had begun, but where would it lead them? As the sun dipped below the horizon, they felt a collective pulse, an unspoken understanding that the battle was just the beginning. Would their stories unite them, or would they become pawns in a game they never wanted to play? The air buzzed with potential, and Marcus could feel the thrill and fear merging inside him, ready for whatever was to come next. Marcus stood at the center of the gathering, feeling the weight of every gaze on him. The air was thick with a mix of tension and hope. He could see the determination on May's face, the worry etched on John's brow, and a flicker of courage from Theo as he caught Marcus's eye. They were all here, ready to stand united, yet the magnitude of what was unfolding loomed heavy over them. "Okay, everyone," Marcus started, his voice steady but his heart racing. "We don't just have a challenge ahead of us. We have a mission. We need to tell our stories. Each one of us holds a piece of this puzzle. A murmur rippled through the crowd, and Marcus took it as encouragement. He gathered his thoughts, his fingers lightly brushing over the notes he had made in the comfort of his kitchen, words that now felt like a lifeline in this moment of uncertainty. I know we're scared, he continued, but fear has two sides. It can either hold us back or push us forward. We're pushing together. Several heads nodded, and he could feel a shared understanding forming. But lurking beneath that connection was still a sense of foreboding, as if dark clouds were gathering on the horizon. Theo stepped up next to Marcus. What about the stories? He asked. I think it's important we start with the hardest ones. Share the ones that hurt the most, the ones that make this fight real. Absolutely, May added, enthusiasm lacing her voice. Those stories will resonate. They will reach into the hearts of those listening. We need vulnerability to be our strength. As the group began to brainstorm, personal stories began to flow like a river, each one a testament to pain, resilience, and hope. One by one, they opened up, voices rising above the quiet rustle of leaves in the park. A woman named Clara shared her experience with discrimination at her workplace, and tears glistened in her eyes as she spoke of the loneliness it brought. I always felt like I had to do more to prove I belonged. But what I learned was, I am enough just as I am. Her voice quivered but held an undeniable strength. Yes, Clara. May encouraged, and the crowd erupted into quiet applause, a ripple of support carrying through the group. Another voice, a man named Greg, chimed in, recounting a moment when a simple handshake had turned a potential ally into an enemy because of the color of his skin. The tension in the air shifted, somber but unyielding, as they all resonated with the pain of his experience. But then, like a cold gust of wind, a message broke through their moment of vulnerability. Marcus's phone vibrated in his pocket. He hesitated before pulling it out, a sinking feeling already forming in the pit of his stomach. A notification flashed on the screen, and his heart dropped. A social media post had gone viral, stirring up anger and hostility against their movement. The comments were brutal, spewing lies, calling them out for their audacity to share their stories. Maya, we need to address this now. Marcus said urgently, turning to her. We can't afford to ignore it. The world is watching. A heavy silence settled among the group, every face shifting from hope to concern, their fears now articulated. Marcus could feel the walls closing in, and he fought to rally everybody's spirits once again. Maya, what do we do? Theo asked, eyes wide with worry. Fight back. Her response was resolute, anchoring the group's fraying confidence. We stand taller. We counter the lies with truth. We harness the power of our stories. Her words ignited a spark. They needed to go beyond talking, they needed to act, to amplify every voice that had been silenced. Each story shared was a weapon against hate. We're in this together, Marcus affirmed, drawing from their shared energy. Tonight, let us craft our message. Tomorrow, let us go public to show them not just who we are, but why we're fighting. As the crowd buzzed with renewed energy, Marcus felt a swell of determination flood through him. But deep inside, a chilling realization crept in. Would their visibility shield them or make them targets? The storm was coming, and they had opened the door wide. Just as the last light of day faded away, Marcus's phone buzzed again, another disturbing alert waiting for him. He steeled himself for whatever was to come next. The real fight was just beginning. Would their unity be enough to weather the approaching storm? The next morning dawned gray and heavy, mirroring the unease that wrapped around Marcus's heart. As he sipped his coffee, scrolling through his notifications, the comments from the night before lingered in his head. The world seemed to pulse with negativity, but so did his determination. He poured his energy into creating change, and now it felt like all of that was shrouded in darkness. But May's voice echoed in his mind, louder than any doubt. Remember, they can't take away your worth. He shook off the fear, reminding himself of the community that had gathered around him, united in purpose. Today, they would fight back. At the park, their small brigade was assembling again. Marcus felt the camaraderie thick in the air as smiles greeted him. Clara, Greg, and others filled the space with excited chatter, all ready to make their voices heard. It reassured him. Their stories would be the foundation, but they could amplify those narratives through solidarity. "Are we all ready?" Marcus asked, heart pumping, a mixture of nerves and excitement humming through him. The crowd nodded, faces alive with purpose. As they began to organize, the unexpected happened. A group of local journalists appeared, drawn in by the swirling tension and the passion radiating from the gathering. "We want to share your story," one woman said, her camera poised, ready to capture the moment. Marcus's heart quickened. This was the moment they'd been waiting for. "Absolutely. We're here to talk about community, resilience, and change," he replied, stepping forward. "And we're not going to back down from the pushback we're getting." The crowd cheered, invigorated by this unexpected wave of media attention. They began to share their stories on camera, weaving through heartache and triumph like threads in a tapestry. With each story told, their bond strengthened. The truth began to shine brightly, piercing through the negative onslaught. Voices once buried were now being recognized. The fire of transformation swept through the park. As the sun broke through the clouds, casting rays of light on them, Marcus felt a new energy revitalizing the gathering. This wasn't just about him anymore, it was about a community refusing to be silenced, demanding to be seen. They would not fall victim to the harsh words of the naysayers. But the battle ahead wouldn't end with a single event. Each shared story was a step on a much broader journey. After the media coverage, hordes of people started appearing at their initiatives, drawn by the raw honesty they had put forward. Slowly, connections grew deeper. Organizations began to reach out, offering mentorship and support. Local businesses started endorsing their cause, eager to join in and create an inclusive tech community together. The momentum they had feared would cripple them instead galvanized them, drawing them together like a powerful magnet. But in the midst of the joyous strides forward, Marcus remained vigilant. The backlash had not dissipated, he knew the opposition would regroup. He needed to prepare himself and his community for the scrutiny that lay ahead. During another gathering, Marcus stood up before them all, looking each person in the eye. "We've made huge strides, but we need to remain steadfast. Transparency, unity, and resilience are our best defenses against negativity. If we keep our voices strong, they can't drown us out." May smiled proudly from the front, surrounded by friendly faces, now shining with hope rather than fear. John, once skeptical, nodded earnestly. "Let us keep sharing. The more we stand together, the harder it will be for anyone to undermine our purpose." A buzz of agreement spread through the crowd, reaffirming their commitment. Marcus could finally feel threads of hope stitching their community closer together. They were more than just a response to hate, they were a movement in its infancy, gathering momentum by rising above adversity. And then, something extraordinary happened. As they reached out to share their stories, more and more people began to feel the resonance of real change. Classes in local schools focused on entrepreneurship for marginalized communities blossomed. Job fairs turned into opportunities for many who never thought they could belong to the tech industry. Suddenly, the narrative began to shift. Conversations opened up everywhere about representation, support, and diversity. The crowd that had doubted began to listen. A ripple of awareness spread like change in mercurial waters. Marcus realized in that moment, they had become the change they wanted to see. Yet, as night fell over the park again, Marcus knew that storms could still descend. But he wasn't afraid, the community built around him was stronger now than it had ever been. He glanced at May, who radiated unwavering belief in him. "Let us change the world," he whispered, feeling the warmth of her embrace envelop him firmly. "Together." In return, May simply smiled, and for the first time, Marcus truly felt that the hard work they had endured, along with their collective stories, might just shift the course of history. As the camera flashed capturing the faces of hope and strength that surrounded him, he knew this was only the beginning. Together, they were ready to face whatever might come next. The struggle had forged them into something beautiful, and their resilience would light the way ahead. This was their moment. With every strength summoned and commitment rising, they were ready to take on the challenges ahead. And they wouldn't fight alone. Now, as you've journeyed with Marcus and his community through this story of transformation and strength, it's time for action. If you've been inspired, you need to subscribe now. Don't miss out on the exclusive stories that can change lives. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and support this mission of hope. Comment below with your reactions. Share your feelings about how this story touched you. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. This is the moment to show your support and be part of something bigger. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Join us in igniting change.